welcome to another episode of Talking to Myself. I'm your host, Jake Letizia, and this is the podcast where I look into a camera and I talk to myself. How you doing? How's it going? Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing okay. Today is the day that we pick a new one, huh? Today's the day that we pick a new one of them, you know? Hopefully you picked the right one. No. Hopefully you picked the right... Who's the right one? I don't know. Hopefully you picked it. Oh, dude. Yeah, today's the day, huh? What's gonna happen, bro? Dude, I hope... If there's one thing I hope, dude, just whatever happens, dude, I hope everyone... We all gotta just calm the fuck down a little bit, you know? Can we all just calm down? Let's just chill out, dude. Let's just chill out, because the energy has been ratcheted up to a degree that if it keeps going up, it's not gonna end up anywhere good. But if it goes down, it'll probably, we'll all... and then buy a popcorn or something. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, hope you're doing okay today. I'm chilling. I just ate a muffin. I'm finishing my coffee. I'm drinking water. I'm staying hydrated. Things are good, dude. A lot of people keep talking about P. Diddy. That's light. I was talking about the election for 3 seconds, and now I'm like, let's talk about something lighter. P. Diddy. Probably the lightest topic you could ever talk about, right? That's a clear-cut bad guy. It's strange. Ever since P. Diddy got caught with the 1,000 bottles of lube, I just hear there's a lot of people who keep bringing that up and talking about it, like in a way that I find strange. Like people keep posing the question, like, how do you end up with that much lube? Like, how do you end up with 1,000 bottles of lube? But the question's being posed like a normal guy. How does a normal guy end up with 1,000 bottles of lube? It's like a normal guy doesn't, but P. Diddy isn't it's a weird question to ask for P. Diddy. Like, I would never end up with that many bottles of lube, but if you're P. Diddy and you're a billionaire who assaults people, you're gonna have that on hand. 1,000 bottles of lube is not crazy if you have $1 billion and often abuse people sexually. That's kind of the amount I'd expect, If you if you went into a mass shooter's house and there was 1,000 boxes of ammunition, I wouldn't be like, "Hey, I'm a gun owner. How the fuck do you end up with that much ammo?" I'd be like, oh yeah, he's a psycho. Oh yeah, that guy wanted to kill everyone with a gun. That's why he's got 1,000 rounds of ammunition. I look at P. Diddy, I go, oh yeah, that guy likes to rape a lot of people. That's why he's got 1,000 bottles of baby oil, one for every person probably. That's how prolific and awful this guy is. Right? If you went into a serial killer's home and he had a vintage collection of 1,000 knives, you wouldn't be putting yourself in his shoes. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't be like, hey, how would I end up? Why do you have that many knives? That's crazy. We're not talking about Jay Leno with 100 cars, It's not the same. Jay Leno, you never ask about Jay Leno. How does Jay Leno end up with 100 cars? He has an endless amount of money and he likes cars. That's how he ends up with it. If you have an endless amount of money and you like to perform sexually violent acts, you're going to have that much lube, dude. It checks out to me. I'm confused by people's confusion, if I'm being honest. Yeah. So P. Diddy, that's why he's got that much lube. The election is today. Dude, the election is such a the election's so weird cuz the election, I don't know what I wonder what it was like back in the day. Right? When I was not conscious of the world's health, the world's mental health. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're in your 20s and older, I feel like you get a sense of how much people are affected by politics. But when I'm like 12 and 15, none of it matters because I don't know, the world doesn't exist beyond the high school. You know what I'm saying? When you're a child, the world doesn't exist beyond the school you're in. That's why kids kill themselves, is because, one bad rumor gets spread and they don't understand there's a whole life, dude. When you're 15, you don't understand how many years you get to or have to live, depending on your perspective. When you're 15 years old, you don't understand how long life is, right? So you just think everything matters so much, but then the older you get, the more you realize things don't matter. But then there's like a falling off point, in your, I don't know. I'm just very like, I don't know. You can't let the election like ruin your life. I think that's my opinion. You can't let it, like, you can be passionate about politics. You should vote for who you want to win. But then if the person loses that you wanted to win, you got to keep it pushing. You got to keep, if you're politically active, stay politically active. You got to. But I guess there's an age for that, right? I'm too old to care too much about a lot of things. I'm old enough where there's not enough time to let something affect me for a long time, I only have so many years left. I can't. People I know have like drop dead sometimes. I can't be sad for 4 years. I just can't do it, Maybe early 20s you can do it, but when you're 30 plus, dude, you can't fucking do it, dude. You get like 3 days of giving a shit about anything. When someone died and I was 15, I was upset for a month, Now if someone dies, it bums me out for a half hour, If my mom died tomorrow, I would be, but that's my mom, dude. You know what I'm saying? My mom would bum me out for a long time, but a cousin, dude, I'm giving you 24 minutes of remorse. But the election's kind of like a car crash, because it's like a car crash is going to happen, and like where it's going to happen, and everyone's watching it. You just don't know which car is going to have the fatalities. That's what the election is like. That's what election day is like. You're watching two cars in a head-on collision, and one of the cars, every single person in the car is going to die, and in the other car, everyone's going to live. You just don't know what car yet. And so once they make the collision, you know who's mourning the dead. And there's like a national stress of whose funeral is it going to be, Who's going to be crying for the next month? Because make no mistake, dude, someone's going to be crying. It doesn't matter who you vote for. There's a demographic of people voting for either candidate who will be screaming, dude. Who will be very upset. Oh, dude. And that's why I come back to, like, we got to calm down because we've already taken it to 11, dude. We can't possibly, if we escalate beyond the reactions that have happened for the last two presidents, it's people are just going to be, it's going to be violent and really fucked up. So we can't do that, dude. We got to chill out, dude. We can't be breaking into shit when someone loses. You can't be doing that, dude. But yeah, it's a bit of a car crash. But what are you gonna do? That's life, dude. And that's the thing. It's maybe it's just because I'm a little bit older that the car crash happens and I go, all right, well, the funeral's over. Okay, the funeral's happened. The person's in the ground. I can't keep crying, dude. I can't keep crying. I don't, I got to make sure I have rent. Yeah. Anyway, I hope everyone stays safe and is healthy and is good. Dude, I was on the train the other day and I was on the subway, and while on the subway car, it was a packed subway in the middle of the day, and while I was on the subway car, there was an announcement over the loudspeaker, and the woman in the front car, the woman operating the subway, goes, NYP, train has stopped, NYPD, report to the operator's car, NYPD, report to the operator's car. And she said it like distressed. She said it like maybe something really bad was going on. And so I went, I'm going to get off the train. And so me and like 6 other people from a packed train got off the subway and went up into the New York City streets. And then I walked 2 stops over and caught a train ahead of that train so that I'm not on the train that maybe is gonna be shot up. It just blew my mind. It blew my mind that so few people were like, that sounds really bad, I'm gonna get off this thing. Like, so few, like a fraction of of people thought like NYPD to the operator's car, the current world we live in, who knows what the fuck that means. Dude, who knows what that means, dude? Anything could happen. I'm not gonna stand here and wait for it maybe to be the worst case scenario. Like, what if it is a guy just shooting every train car? How many gunshots do you hear before you're like, oh, that's close, I'm gonna get off? How close does the horrific thing really have to be for someone to move their feet? I'm always wondering that. It's a dark thought, but it's true, dude. Like, I'm gonna move quick, dude. I'm gonna very quickly be like, I'm not even gonna stay around to find out what that means. If I'm on the train and I hear police, or can police be reported somewhere? Like, I'm gonna try and stay away. Dude, didn't a police officer shoot a guy who jumped the turnstile the other day? Listen, I don't know enough about that story to know if that happened for real, but that's the thing, is that those are the things you hear. I heard that happen and I'm like, the NYPD in the front of the train car, dude. I don't want to be if there's a crazy guy with a gun, dude, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I got to get out of here. It's also not that much effort to get out of the train and go to the next one. It's just, I don't know, it blew my mind. And also the train, the real scary thing too is that I heard the train announcer very clearly and then decided to get off. There are so many times where you can't understand what the train operator's saying, and they could be saying anything, dude. They could straight up be saying like there's a bomb on the train, but what I'm hearing is this is turn. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. I hope it's not something fatal. I can't hear a word that was said in that marbled, incoherent garbage, dude. Fix the speaker, dude. The speakers on the train should be loud and clear, dude. It shouldn't be muffled and difficult to hear. And yet, I would say the majority of train announcements, I cannot hear what they're saying. Dude, isn't that terrifying too? That's happened on that happens on planes and trains all the time. On the Metro North, that's happened a couple of times where the train stops, and then I don't know if they know they're on the speaker or it just doesn't matter or what, but they'll say something terrifying. Has that ever happened to you? I was on the Metro North one time, which is a train that goes from New York City, goes out of New York City. And they stopped the train, which doesn't happen very often. And over the loudspeaker, you just hear this guy being like, "Yeah, Jerry. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this thing won't move. Yeah, this thing just like won't operate. Yeah, no, yeah, the lever won't pull. Yeah, I'm worried about what's gonna happen. The lever won't pull. I'm worried about what's gonna happen." What does that mean? What does "I'm worried about what's going to happen" mean? If you're going to be vague on the loudspeaker, at least elaborate so I can assess how scared I should be, you know? Either don't be on the loudspeaker at all or give me all the specific details so I can prepare myself for either blowing up or just waiting a long time. Because now I'm in a zone of like, which is it, dude? Am I just going to be pissed off that I'm late, or am I going to no longer have legs? Which one's going to happen? Yeah. Dude, the worst trouble I've ever had with transit was I was waiting to what a stupid decision. Dude, I was out $400 because of this stupid fucking. I was going to see my friend. I bought a ticket to go see my friend in Colorado, and the plane, and it was started to snow when I was on the plane. And we were just like in the airport, you know. We were getting ready to taxi, and it started snowing, and then the plane was frozen. They were like, we have to defrost the plane. So the plane got too cold and they started defrosting it. And then in the middle of that, they were like, the oxygen isn't working correctly. We have to make sure the cabin's oxygen is working correctly. Okay? That's terrifying. So they fixed both those problems. I'm in my seat being like, I don't really know if I want to even be on this plane. It seems like a lot of things are going poorly before we're even in the air. You know, if you got into a car and the tires fell off, I'd probably just be like, I'm going to walk. No, man, I'll get the tires back on. It's no big deal. Yeah, but I don't know if they're going to fall off mid-drive. So then the third thing, and then they fix everything. We're ready to go. We're about to taxi. And then they go, it turns out the bathrooms aren't working now. So we have to make sure that the bathrooms are going to work. Or you guys can pee right now and maybe the bathrooms won't work the whole flight. And I just was like, and they were also like, we're not sure when we're going to take off. We still got to wait because of the snow. It was all this bullshit. And I was like, fuck this. I'm getting off the flight. And I got off the flight and it was such a fucking nuisance. I had to get my bag. I had to wait for my bag to be mailed to me because they're like, well, we can't get it off the bottom of the plane right now. That would be too easy. No. That's not. Listen, it is what it is, dude. I'm the asshole who got off the plane. I can sit here and get pissed about my specific situation, but I'm the one deviating from what goes on, you know? Listen, in my brain, I'm like, can't you just open the hatch and get my fucking shit? But at the same time, if you're working at that place and you're like, listen, once we close the hatch, it's over for you, dude. Once we close the hatch, you take the flight, dude. You take the risk. You're either going to die or you're going to get your bag in the next state you're supposed to be in, okay? I got nothing to do with that. I can respect that, dude. People really get angry at people at the airport, but like, I probably would be just as shitty with that job, dude. If I had that job, I wouldn't give a fuck about you. It's funny because people will be like, why aren't people at the airport like the most courteous, accepting, wonderful people to me specifically all the time? But you know, like, I feel like a lot of people don't think about like being an airport worker, dude. You either have been there long enough to hate everyone, or every day your likability resets. You know, in the morning you're a little tired, so you're not that pleasant. Then you get your coffee in you have a scone, you start probably being pleasant. Then by like 2 p.m., you met a couple shitty people. Mostly people are good. Then by nighttime, dude, you're saying fuck you to everybody, dude. Close to close at the airport working there, I can imagine you've dealt with enough cunts that you've become one, you know? That's the thing. People don't think about the cunts to cunt ratio, dude. If you encounter 18 cunts, you become a cunt. That's just how it goes, dude. That's a good ratio, dude. It's a lot less for most people, dude. Honestly, it's a lot less for me. If I meet 3 people who are being pieces of absolute honestly, if I meet one guy who's being awful to me, it's gonna no, you know what? It's gonna take a lot of people for me to be shitty to new people. But if someone's being shitty to me, I'm very quickly gonna be shitty back. And that's why, and it all comes back to, dude, let's all calm down, dude. If you're an asshole, I'm gonna match your energy, dude. So let's both not be assholes, dude. Why don't you chill and I chill and everyone's chill and we get on the plane and it doesn't go down and no one gets shot, right? Let's all live in a world where no one's getting shot that much. Right? Don't you think the ideal world is a world where no one is starving or on the street or shot that much, dude? Those are the 3 ones, dude. No, everyone's got a home. Everyone's got some food in their stomach, and nobody's being shot to death. Those are 3 key ones. I wonder if our president would ever run on that. My campaign promises: no one's gonna get shot anymore. Everyone's gonna have food every day, and nobody's gonna be on the street, dude. Honestly, I'd vote for that. Every time there's an election, I'm like, I wish I was smarter, dude. I wish I was smarter. Because I hear what people are saying about political issues, and I have an opinion on them, but I don't really know. I don't know that much. And then people will get angry at me because they're like, well, you need to be informed. And I'm like, yeah, but I feel like I do inform myself. I can talk coherently about a political subject. But then if someone breaks it all the way down to like minutia, I'm like, I don't fucking know. I'm not an expert, dude. That's what's funny about politics and voting is like, ideally everyone would know the ins and outs of what they're voting for, but 90% of people probably know nothing. It's a really important decision to make, and yet you're not required to have any information about the decision. Like, you can blindly vote if you want to, dude. And I'm sure there are people that do. I wonder if there's a demographic of people who go in and then just close their eyes and just fill out. Who literally blind vote. Sometimes with politics, I feel like a guy arguing a flat earther, which is kind of political sometimes now. But I don't know. There's just certain arguments where you're like, I can't engage too hardcore with this. I think that's a good thing to know about yourself is to know when, like, even if you're correct, even if you have the correct opinion in an argument, sometimes you're like, I don't know enough to make it seem to the world like I am right, because this guy knows more things about the wrong thing. Do you know what I'm saying? One time this dude wanted to argue with me about flat earth, and I could tell that he wanted the argument, and he's done a lot of research, and there was a glimmer in his eye that was like, please argue with me about this. And instead I just went, oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. He was like, yeah, dude, do you think the earth is flat? I was like, no. And he goes, why not? I go, I just don't. And he was like, well, what do you mean? Like, scientifically, like, do you know anything about it? I'm like, I don't know, man. I go, do you believe the earth is flat? He goes, yeah. I go, okay, that's cool, man. He goes, what do you think about that? Do you think like that's stupid? I go, whatever you want to believe, dude. And then we didn't have the argument, and that's good, because that would have ruined everyone at the bar's night, you know? The entire bar would have been upset hearing these two fucking idiots argue about NASA and flat earth, and neither of us have a degree in anything remotely surrounding the topic. That's the thing, dude. Sometimes someone's arguing my opinion, and I'm like, you're too stupid to do this, okay? I know I'm too stupid to do this. Can we get two people in here who know what the fuck they're talking about? Can we get two people in here who we can latch onto and be like, well, yeah, at least he's representing what I think. That's it for the first part. I'll see you guys in a second for the second part. What's up? I'm back. Daylight savings just happened, and we gained an hour. That was an interesting moment. So I was with my parents this weekend because my girlfriend, her best friend had her wedding, and it was near where my parents live and where I grew up, and so me and my girlfriend were just like staying at my parents' place, chilling out, eating some good food, just having like a little mini weekend vacation away from the city. And you know, me and her sleep in late when we can, and on daylight savings we woke up at 10:45, and we were, you know, having our morning coffee or whatever the hell, and she goes, it's kind of impressive that we woke up at 10:45, because that means we woke up at 9:45. And I was like, well, no, we gained an hour, so we actually woke up at 11:45. Which, I mean, I can understand how that's confusing, but I don't think it's not. Maybe I confused her, but I don't think I think what I said made sense. And she's like, well, no, we gained an hour, so then it's 9:40. It would have been 9:45. And I'm like, no, we didn't. I see what she thought. She thought we gained an hour, like it moved, but that's losing an hour. And I was like, no, we gained an hour. And then she thought I was getting mad, but I wasn't getting mad. I was just like, by the third time you say something, you seem mad. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes repetition, what's call it? Seeps out anger, you know? Sometimes when you say something for a third time, your tone automatically shifts to a tone of I'm saying this for a third time, and it just seems angrier than you mean it to. And she's like, well, why are you getting mad? Why are you getting angry? I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just trying to. It's just. I'm just trying to. It's simple, and it's not hitting. Sometimes, you know, you're explaining something simple and it's not hitting, and you're like, am I an idiot? Like, am I not explaining this right? Or are you just kind of not listening to what I'm saying? That's the thing too, is that when you're in a relationship, there's a lot of not listening on both sides. People always, the stereotype is that men don't listen. And then as a man, you'll get annoyed at that because you'll have all these examples of your girlfriend not listening. And then you're like, well, women don't listen. It's like, well, no, we both don't listen, dude. What happens is in the beginning, you listen all the time. You listen constantly to your partner because you're falling in love with them, and everything they say is a new experience and a new thing. And you're so interested, and you remember like little intricate details that they said, and then you say them back to them, and they're like, oh my God, you really listened to me. And they do the same to you. They listen to shit you say. And then you get to the point where you know when you have to listen and when you don't have to listen. and the new becomes old, and then you're like, all right, well, I'm going to tune in when I know I need to. Like, there's certain things that she has to tell me like several times. And there's certain things that I have to tell her several times because we both have found the equation of what's important to listen to and what's not. So when I'm talking about a movie or a video game, if I'm talking about a fucking video game that she doesn't give a shit about, she's going to start tuning out, dude. If I make a reference to something, she doesn't quite remember it, okay? But if she's telling me about aspects of her day that she's told me already, I'm like, that's the thing too, is that you hear certain things and you're like, that sounds like something I've heard before, so I probably already know it, so I don't need to listen to it. But then you find out later that was a new thing, it just sounded similar. That was a new thing, it just sounded like something old, and so my brain didn't retain any of it. But anyway, back to the story. Then I went to my mom and I was like, oh, daylight savings, we gained an hour. So 9:45, it wouldn't have been 9:45, it would have been 11:45. And then my mom goes, no, it would have been 11:45. I go, no, Mom, you know what? Forget I went to you because you're not helping. And then she goes, oh, no, yeah, 10, oh, yeah, you gained an hour. Yeah. It would have been 11:45. And then they both figured it out. But it was, I don't know. But that's love, That's love. Love is that argument. Love is arguing with your girlfriend about daylight savings. People think that love is like you dancing with your wife in front of the Eiffel Tower. And kissing when a shooting star flies by. That's not what love is. Love is being with someone long enough for her to be like, why are you getting angry? That's what love is, dude. That's what love is. Every time I tell my girlfriend, like, hey, you don't need to talk to me that way, I'm like, wow, we're really becoming close. Every time she's like, you're being too loud. That's love, dude, because she's been around me long enough for my loudness to not be charming anymore and to be annoying. And she's like, you got to stop because I love you and I want to keep loving you. That's really what it is. Those little checks are a person going, I need to be like the tone shift she heard when I was getting kind of annoyed because it was becoming difficult to explain. That tone shift is me subconsciously going, I want to be with you forever, so it needs to be faster to explain this. Same with her, dude. She was a little hungover, and I was just being silly and crazy because in the mornings I'm just like, ha ha ha. I get a little wild in the morning, and she was like, you need to you need to do that in a different area because I want to be with you forever. And if you do that a little too loud for 13 more seconds, I'm going to leave in a week. That's why you're annoying to your partner. At least that's what I mean, I believe that. If you're not annoying to your partner, I think you don't like them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, everyone I know, and I definitely do this, I'm very annoying to the person I'm with. And I think it's an unconscious checking of like, how much can you put up with this? How, like, what is your threshold for this annoyingness that I can, if I can be this annoying, how can you tolerate it? And if you can tolerate it well, we'll be good, dude. If I'm extremely annoying for a year and it takes a year for you to finally be like, turn it down a little bit, that's at least like 6 years we could probably do. If I'm being annoying and 2 months in, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? It's going to be over in 5 months, dude. That's just what it is. It's the checks and balances of falling in love, dude. Yeah. What else I got written down here, dude? Oh, I got some. Yeah. Oh, my dad, dude. Did you like that? Did you like me put on the spectacles, dude, to check, dude? I feel old as fuck. I'm not really, that felt like an old man thing, but I guess it's not. I guess I just don't have contacts because I can't afford them. Dude, it's crazy that contacts are $200. 200 plus bucks every 6 months, dude. And then a pair of glasses is the same amount for maybe 5 years, dude. Like, what the fuck? How is that? Can't I get contacts for $100, dude? What's going on? And then they throw it in your face. They're like, well, your vision fucking sucks, so you gotta pay extra. How is that? That doesn't make sense to me, dude. If I need the contacts more, shouldn't it be a little cheaper for me? It's not a luxury item, dude. I need it. That's a little fucked up. They're like, you need this more than other people because your eyesight is more fucked up than the other people, so you got to pay extra because we know you will do it. How about a little kindness, dude? How about a little corporate kindness? How about a little handout for the contacts, you know? Anyway, what the fuck was I talking about? Oh, my dad, dude. Oh, dude. So I brought it to my dad because I used to do a bit about this. My dad used to hit bats out of the sky when he was a kid. He was like 9. My dad claims that when he was like, younger than 9, like 6 or 7. My dad claims that when he was 6 or 7 in Italy, he used to hit bats out of the sky with a bamboo stick, right? And I used to do a bit where I would say, hit bats out of the sky with a bamboo stick. And then I would say to my dad, you used to hit bats out of the sky? And my dad would go, yeah, with a bamboo stick. And I would be like, well, yeah, I don't care about the wood. But I was telling my dad that I would do that bit about him. And he goes, well, yeah, we would hit him well, the bamboo was lighter. Like, I was telling my dad the bit, and he still was like being the bit. He was like, yeah, well, it's lighter to have a bamboo stick. It's lighter than a bat, because bats are fast. And I'm like, yeah, but what is that? Yeah, but you're still missing the point. That's crazy to hit bats out of the sky. And he goes, well, you ever try to hit a bat out of the sky? It's hard to do. They got sonar. I'm like, yeah, but what is that? What does that mean, dude? He's like, as he's telling me about it, and as I'm being like, that's crazy to do, my dad's like pitching the idea to me. You ever try and do that? Also, he's like, you ever try and do that? No, dude, I'm your child, bro. You know I never tried to do that. It's like my dad thinks that we got up to the same crazy shit he did in Italy when we were in the cul-de-sac in America. No, dude. I don't know what back streets you bashed bats out of the sky. And then he told me a new thing. He was like, oh, yeah, there used to be also kids who they would make like slingshots out of like clothespins. And I was like, oh, yeah, I used to do that. He goes, yeah, and they would put gunpowder and pebbles in it, and they would shoot vultures out of the sky, and then they would roast up the vultures, and they would eat them. It went from a very relatable story to being like, yeah, Dad, you lived. Italy was crazy in the 1960s, dude. It wasn't just Italy; it was Italy in the 1960s. Lawless, crazy world. And then he's like, yeah, and I used to work at a tobacco field. And I was like, how old are you? He's like, I was like 9 years old. I'm like, damn, that's child labor. My dad's like, yeah, but I love doing it. And I'm like, it doesn't matter if you love doing it, dude. Dude, that's so crazy. My dad's got the same, dude, that's like the mentality of, that's like, oh my God, dude. What argument could you make that? You couldn't make that for anything else. That's so close to someone being like, to like a pedophile being like, to like someone committing pedophilia being like, well, you know, the child was into it. It's like, it doesn't matter. Dude, you're the adult. Like my dad is like, I liked working there, so what's wrong with it? What's wrong with it is an old man exploiting a child, dude. You might be having fun, but he's getting away with not properly paying you because you're a little kid. My dad's like, it's not child labor, it was fun. What? As long as the kids are having fun, it doesn't matter. Someone should implement that. Someone should have ran on that, dude. We're going to introduce child labor, but all the jobs are going to be really fun. Okay? We're going to have kids operating rides at Six Flags, but they get to ride it for free for every time. Every time they operate the ride, they get to go on twice. Okay? And are you going to pay them? No, we're not going to pay them. That's their payment. But guess what? They're happy, so it's fine. The child is smiling, so it's legal. That's so funny, dude. It's so funny. My dad has such fond memories of Italy as a child, but he like refuses to go back there. I don't know why. I'm like, Dad, would you ever go? I asked him when I was there this weekend. I was like, would you ever go back to Italy? And he's like, I don't know. You know what I liked about Italy was it was such a different way of life. It was such a older way of life, which is like sweet, but also I'm like, yeah, but you're thinking of it 60 years ago. He's like, I don't know. The thing about Italy when I was 8 years old and I was living there in 1968 is that it felt like 1968. The special thing about 1968 Italy is that it felt like the past. It's funny because he said that. He's like, it felt like an older way of life. And he goes, I don't know, maybe it changed. Maybe it's changed since I've been there. I'm like, yeah, I mean, years passed. It's definitely more of a 2024 way of life in Italy now that it's 2024, dude. Oh man, it's so funny though. There's this girl that she used to eat shit because they would like dare her to eat shit, dude. I wonder if she was like malnourished or something. I feel like if you're eating shit in the streets of Italy, is that a normal thing for a little girl to be eating shit in the streets of Italy? I feel like that's not a normal. I feel like that's a fucked up scenario at any year. I feel like any year of human existence, she shouldn't be doing that. I feel like she wasn't properly fed or something. I feel like she was seeking out nutrients in the shit that she wasn't getting from the pasta, you know? Oh, shit. Yeah. But, what else did I write down here? Damn, dude. I'm getting lazy right now, dude. I'm running out of things to talk about. This might be the first time I've ever done the podcast, and I've like genuinely been like, what the fuck am I supposed to talk about, dude? Probably because of what the day, dude. Probably because it's the day of the election, and your brain just goes, what's gonna happen? You know? Whatever. It'll be fine. We'll all be fine. It'll be okay. And if it's not, we'll die, you know? If it's not okay, then that means we're probably dead, and we'll be dead. So, no, it'll be fine. Everything will be fine. Don't worry about it, dude. I'll be, if you feel like everything's not going to be fine, just listen to my voice, dude. It'll be fine. You'll be all right. Been playing Dead Space. I don't fucking know. I'm losing steam right now. I was playing Dead Space. Dude, Dead Space is so fucking good, dude. Dead Space 2. Dude, why don't they remake that game? They remade the first one. It was amazing. And then EA's like, it was interesting, the wording. EA wasn't like, we didn't make enough money on it. They didn't say it was a financial disaster. They just said it didn't do as well as we wanted it to. Or it didn't do as well as we expected it to. So we're not going to remake the second one. But here's the thing, dude. The second one is a 6-hour game. I beat it in 7 hours, like this past week. It's a 7-hour game, and about an hour and a half or 2 hours of it is in the first game. Like, you go back to the ship from the first game. So it's like, so much of that ship is already, the assets are already done for it. Like, they rebuilt everything. It'd be very easy and probably less money to just recreate Dead Space 2, and you'd probably make a fucking ton of money off of it, dude. Especially now, because a bunch of people have Dead Space because it was on PlayStation. It was the PlayStation monthly game recently. Like, a lot of people right now are playing the Dead Space remake, and I feel like, I don't know, maybe EA's lying, dude. Maybe they're secretly developing it and they're gonna put it out. They should, dude, because their new games are not good, dude. All their new games are mid as fuck, dude. They should just, dude, I don't have a problem with remakes. If the remake is good, who gives a fuck, dude? And I didn't think about this until recently, because I played the Silent Hill 2 remake, and that was my first time playing a remake of a game that I've absolutely never played before. Like Resident Evil 4, I guess Resident Evil 2 I've never played before, but I know the Resident Evil games. I've played Resident Evil games. Resident Evil 4, same thing. I played a little bit of Resident Evil 4, the original, and also I've played Resident Evil games, so playing the remake, I have an idea of what the older one is like. I have an idea of the story in it. But Silent Hill 2, I've never played a single Silent Hill game. I've never played Silent Hill 2 because I was too young. You know, I was too young, and like I didn't realize that I even liked horror games until recently, to be honest with you. BioShock was my first horror game ever, and I didn't even really process it as a horror video game. And honestly, Gears of War was scary too. Honestly, there was a lot of horror I feel like horror games might be the best games ever created. The best games, in my opinion, I think every single greatest game of all time, for me, has a horror element to it. So anyway, but so Silent Hill 2's coming out, and I'm a guy who loves horror games, right? Who has found out that his favorite games of all time are horror video games. And Silent Hill 2 is considered one of like a horror classic, one of the best horror games of all time. And I have no idea what the story is. Like, I somehow have I played a lot of video games, and I somehow have not seen or heard anything about any of the story in this game. So I'm going to this game completely clean, knowing nothing. And I played Silent Hill 2 Remake, and it was maybe my game of the year. It was incredible, dude. It was amazing. It was a fantastic game, dude. And it made me think to myself, I'm like, damn, I probably would have never experienced the story of that game if they never remade it. And so it really changed my perspective on remakes, where like, if you can make a really amazing remake, it does preserve, it preserves games that people have never played in a way that older games might not be able to do it. And video games are such a different thing because they're interactive. Where like movie remakes, they can work, they can be great, but it's such a different experience. Because if you remake a movie when you remake a movie, you kind of have to like remake it too much. But a game, you can like either just a game you could remake a lot or super little depending on what the game needs. Like Silent Hill, they changed some things, but I mean, I watched like a playthrough of the whole first one or like a lot of the key moments, and they didn't change too much. And it's because you don't need to. You don't need to. And because you're playing the thing, people don't mind if it's not changed that much because people like to replay a game. Because a game can be different every time. The combat can be different every time. You can have a new, even if it's the same story, you can have a new experience every time. You know, there's different variables always. But a movie, it's like you watch the story. It's like a joke, dude. A movie's like a joke. When someone tells you a joke, it's funny the first time, but it's diminishing returns. You have to forget a joke to enjoy it again. And sometimes you need to forget a movie a little bit to really enjoy it again. You can appreciate a joke and the science behind it, but you won't react to it the same way you reacted to a movie for the first time. And that is true for games too. You're not gonna have the same reaction when you replay it, but I don't know. What the fuck am I trying to say? It's just Silent Hill 2 is one of the best stories in video games, and I wouldn't know that if this remake didn't come out. And also on top of that, it's not woke. We've gotten to a breaking point with the woke shit, dude. We really have. It's really, for me, Silent Hill 2 was the straw that broke the camel's back with the woke stuff. Like, people have been calling games woke more and more recently, and there are some times when people call a game woke and it makes sense, but Silent Hill 2, it was the moment where I was like, all right, people are grifting, dude. There are grifters out there, and there are people who are just following the algorithm to make money, dude. When Silent Hill was coming out and everyone was deciding that the game sucked before it came out, and then it came out and it was really good, and then a lot of people were like, it's actually good. What a pleasant surprise. But there were certain people who fucking dug their heels and went, nope, it's as bad as I planned it to be because this is how I make my money. And it's like, bro, could you show me any more that you are a grifter with no real opinion? There's people out there right now. Listen, you can not like Silent Hill 2. I've seen people make honest criticisms of the game. Okay? But I've also seen people just like grifting hardcore, dude. Dude, people saying that Angela is not hot. What are we doing? Also, it's like we're living in a like what is your life, dude? If you're comparing Maria from the new game and Maria from the old game and being like, she was hotter in the old game, and it's like, bro, it's pixels, dude. There's so little detail on the original cat. What do you mean by hotter, dude? Like, how do we? Also, hot is pretty subjective, dude. And also, people saying the Maria character has a crazy jaw, and like she's an attractive woman. The woman playing Maria is hot. A lot of the dudes I've seen criticize her jaw would be happy to fuck her, dude. Like, I don't believe that you think that. And if you do think that, it's like, it doesn't matter what you're saying about it. Also, Angela, I mean, this has all been said on different podcasts and by different people. But Angela is a victim of sexual assault. Like, why you need her to be hot? It doesn't make any sense. Also, Maria is as attractive as James Sunderland, dude. I look at the two of them, I go, that's a couple that makes sense, dude. James Sunderland isn't like the hottest man of all time. Maria isn't the hottest woman of all time. They're both pretty good-looking people. They're both people who I would think would end up together. Right? If she was super hot. Also, I think it's interesting because in Silent Hill, it's like Maria, if you haven't played the game, you might not know what I'm talking about. But in Silent Hill, it's like you're trying to find... there's not a lot of time left. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is Silent Hill is good. Silent Hill 2 is good. Maybe I'll talk about this more on the next podcast. I ran out of time. Silent Hill 2 is good. Remakes are good. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I'm trying my best. Anyway, thank you for listening. Have a good day. Stay safe, stay healthy. Let's all calm down a little bit and chill. Yeah. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week.
Jake, you're an idiot. Jake, you don't make any sense.